So welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today I'm continuing on with paranormal activity reviews, and today I will be reviewing Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. Now, this one surprised me. As I said it in my other Paranormal Activity reviews, the marked ones, this one I have not seen since it came out in the theater. So I haven't seen it in a long time. I really enjoy the marked ones. I'll be honest, I don't understand the hate towards this one. I don't understand the hate towards this one. I get it if you don't like it, but I think you should give this one a second chance. This one is not repetitive. This one tries to do something different. Yes, there are hints at time travel, but it doesn't do what the Ghost Dimension does. It does it in a subtle way. You know, yeah, it's time travel, it's wild, but it handles it in a different way. They mainly just talk about it, and it leaves it up to the viewer if it's time travel, if it's not, what is it, you know. But basically what the Ghost, not the Ghost Dimensions, Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, basically what this one is, it's just basically, you know, these are people that live in apartments, you know, they do a really good job, you know, getting attached to these new people, but these new people, they got these, you know, this weird neighbor that lives below them. They got this weird neighbor, and they don't know what's up with this weird neighbor. We don't know what's up with this weird neighbor. But something's up with this weird neighbor. Something's up. And later on, you find out that this weird neighbor has connections to the first 4 movies. So, thought that was really cool right there. This one does a really good job tying everything up. I think this one could have been the last one, and it would have been fine because, again, it does a really good job tying everything up, and it leaves it on a cliffhanger ending. It leaves it on a cliffhanger ending. Again, this is where the franchise should have ended, in my opinion, because of how it's made and how it's done. Possibly one of the best endings of the whole franchise since the first 2. And this really brought mystery back to the franchise. Nothing was predictable. Everything, you didn't know what was going to happen. You know, from part 1 to part 4, things started to get, you know, very predictable. You knew what was going to happen. Going into this one, it was an entirely different story, and I enjoyed that. I really love that. You know, the first half was like a horror comedy. And then we go towards the end, it's a straight in-your-face supernatural, and I love it. I love how this director did it. He also written it as well. This one is amazing. You know, there's more, you know, there is an explanation to why they're using cameras. There's even scenes where they use GoPros. You know, the camera's just not like that anymore. There's people like walking around with the camera, which adds life to the movie. I really enjoy the Markles. I'm not going to spoil my ranking. I have one more left, and that's the Ghost Dimensions, and I don't like the Ghost Dimensions at all. I hate the Ghost Dimensions. So, anyways, the marked ones. I really love this Paranormal Activity movie. I love that they tried something different, and I think it worked. You know, people hated on this movie then, but people need to give this movie a second chance, and that's my opinion. I really enjoyed the marked ones. You know, the whole time traveling thing, yeah, it was wild, but they, you know, didn't force it down your throat like the Ghost Dimensions did. And 2, you know, this one makes you rethink the first one, because if you haven't seen this one, it's spoilers ahead. They take you back to the part 3 house, which right there is really interesting. So they take you back to the part 3 house, but I thought the part 3 house burnt down, but it didn't. So that's kind of interesting right there. So you go back to the Paranormal Activity 3's house. Obviously, Paranormal Activity 3 was a prequel. So you go to the house. Then not only do you go to the Paranormal Activity 3 house, you go to the Paranormal Activity 1's house, and they redo the whole ending of the original Paranormal Activity movie. And I think what this movie did, it added layers. It added something special to this franchise. You know, this one, it really is its own thing, but it is connected to the other movies, but that's towards the end of the movie. I love how that's handled. You know, it's really its own thing at the beginning. It's fun, it's entertaining. You know, I love the whole build-up of, you know, of the guy, getting possessed. I love the build up to all. I love the build up to the scares. This one's a heavy connection to the third one and the first one, and I love that. You know, Allie, I believe that's her name. Allie. She makes a return. She's from part 2. She makes a return. This one is a perfect tie-in, and trust me, you have to watch this movie again because it actually surprised me. It actually surprised me. You could tell they cared about this one. You could tell they cared about this one because it's wow. Like this movie actually surprised me. I love the tone and the feel of this movie. It doesn't have the same tone and feel of the first 4. And that's the thing too. If you really think about it, part 1 to part 4 had the same tone. They had the same tone and feel and energy. This one, for the first half, it was a horror comedy. It was taking its time getting can't talk. It was taking its time for you getting used to these new group of characters, having fun, good laughs, good jokes here and there. Then boom, slowly start to build up. And this movie, it's creative. The marked ones, man. Oh, I'm surprised. I'm still surprised. This movie really took it back to the first 2, where everything is not all up in your face. It's simple. It's effective. I really love this Paranormal Activity movie. I'm not going to say where it's placed on my ranking quite yet, because like I said, I still have the Ghost Dimensions to review. But this one, yeah, this one's it right here. Off topic for a minute. As you guys know, they're making a new Paranormal Activity movie. I'll be 100% honest. If the new Paranormal Activity movie's coming out in 2022. That new Paranormal Activity movie, I think they should go in the route of not a remake, not a reboot. They should go in a route of, making a direct sequel to the marked ones, or making a movie similar to the marked ones where it is in canon, but it tries to be its own thing. Or just retcon the Ghost Dimensions, like I said, and just make a proper sequel to the marked ones. Because again, the marked ones is a good Paranormal Activity movie. Out of all of them, this is the most watchable. I say it. As much as I enjoy, as much as I love the first one, and that's my favorite found footage movie, this one does the found footage better. It's more believable. It's just more effective. And I don't know, there's something about this one that's just a little bit, it's, to me, this one's right up there with the first one. It's right up there. It deserves to be right next to the original. Out of all of them, I say this one and the first one the most entertaining out of all of them. This one really does take it back to the first one because everything is a slow burn. It's a build-up. It's not like part 3 or part 4 where it starts to show too much and it's all in your face and it's just, bleh, you know what I mean? This one takes its time getting to what it needs to do. I really love the markets. I was surprised. I don't know why it took me this long to see it again because I really enjoy this one. There was moments where, because like I said, I've not seen this movie in years, so this just amazed me, to see the Paranormal Activity 3 house and the part 1 house, and seeing, oh, that's what happened, in the first one, in the end. It just amazes me how this one was so I would say amazing. Then we go to the Ghost Dimensions. It's how do we go from amazing to that? You know what I mean? The marked ones, man, I really love the marked ones. If you hate this movie for some odd reason, please give it a second chance because I'm telling you, it does something different for the franchise. It moves the franchise forward. It doesn't move the franchise back. It moves it forward. Yes, it may, it may be a little wild, how they move it forward, but again, they made it into a franchise and it's a found footage franchise, so they have to come up with a creative way to move it forward, and if time traveling and all that's the way to do it, and it's just in a simple way and not in your face, then I'm fine with it. Then I'm totally down. It's unique, it's different, it's wild, fun, crazy, cool, right? I really enjoy the marked ones. If you are already a person that hates this movie, you crap on this movie, Give it a second chance, because I promise you, you're gonna be amazed by this movie. Promise you, it's well made. This movie tries to be its own thing while staying in continuity. It's actually surprising how, yeah, it feels like it's two separate movies, but it merges perfectly. It's done well. It's perfect. Like, it's perfect. Like like on its own, like on its own, if they took away, which I'm glad they didn't, but I'm just saying, like, if they took away like the whole connection to the part 1 and part 3 and part 2 and all those, this one could have been a complete clean slate, and it would have been just as entertaining. But I think it's more entertaining with the tie-ins to part 3 and etc. I think it's really cool that they really focused on part 1, 2, and 3. They didn't focus too much on part 4. I think because part 4 is not the most liked one, but now we all know which one is that, and that's the Ghost Dimensions. Which I'll be honest, I'm not too excited to watch the Mark. I'm not too excited to watch the Ghost Dimensions. I'm not too excited on that. But yeah, the marked ones, love this movie to death. I'm definitely gonna be, watching this movie for a third time very soon, probably in October sometime, the Halloween season, Maybe I may even do a revisiting of this movie before the end of the year, because I really enjoy the marked ones. I didn't think I loved this movie this much. It surprised me. Yeah. Let me know in the comments below, what do have you seen Paranormal Activity, the marked ones? What do you think of it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let's have a discussion about the marked ones. Do you think this is how where the franchise should have continued? I think yes, the tone and the feel, this is where the franchise should have moved forward, and it didn't. I think the marked ones moved the franchise forward, and the Ghost Dimensions stepped it all the way back. But to me, let's have a discussion in the comments below. What do you think of the Paranormal Activity franchise as a whole? I think it's a decent franchise. It has its flops, but it also has its good to decent films. And I think the marked ones is one of the amazing ones out of this whole franchise. And I love the marked ones, really do. If I had to give this movie a rating, I say a solid 10 out of 10. Just like I gave just like I gave part 1 a 10 out of 10. Really enjoyed the marked ones. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think of the marked ones? Let me know, what do you think of the franchise as a whole? Make sure you subscribe, like button, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. Stay tuned for the next video where I will review the Ghost Dimensions. I'll see you guys in the next video.